The first season of Mushoku Tensei had amused the anime community, with its rich and immersive world that felt real and alive, with many breathtaking views becoming the best isekai, which somehow still sounds like an insult. Second season defends its position with Pipi can't get hard and how to cheat on your wife and get away with it? Whoa, what a season! 3 years ago Mushoku Tensei had came out. It was the anime that changed opinion on isekai. The main character wasn't overpowered and I said he had more flaws than he should. The world was full of places that felt real, occupied by many races that spoke their own languages. A world that you could believe that it existed. It felt organic and natural. And I really love how the world accompanies this story. At the very beginning, Rudy was haunted by trauma from his past life, keeping him from going outside the home, which located in the countryside, bathed in sun with not many people around, was a perfect safe space. Even when thanks to Roxy he overcomes part of his trauma, he goes from small safe space to big safe space. But when Rudy finds himself in a new place that could be dangerous, the world starts to look more grey and unsafe. Of course, the world isn't all that is to this story. Characters are also crucial. And Rudeus is, well, an incel who got reincarnated into a world with much less strict rules compared to our modern times. He's deeply flawed, he's creepy and disgusting, yet we see that he has another chance to do things right. He's not Himal the hero by any means, but I think we all think Rudeus risks his own life for others, hope that he'll redeem himself. Well, that was 3 years ago. When reborn as a vending machine, I now wander the dungeon. Later, let's see what this story is about.
How's it going? My name is Otis Neversoft again, and recently I was diagnosed with erectile dysfunction.
Yes, we went from this to this. The last thing I was expecting was to see Mengod going skedaddle.
Skedaddle, your dick is now a noodle!
From the very beginning we can see that Ares had left mark on Rudy, and he wasn't a normal character to begin with, so there's a lot of scenes that are really not comfortable to watch. But there's still that bit of good in Rudy, he still tries to do good things. And I know I'm playing devil's advocate, but I myself didn't like Rudy. He lacks morals and is warmly horny, but what else could we expect from a man-child like him in the first place? Part 2 of the second season changed how I see him a lot, but on that a bit later. We can see how he struggles to find a goal after what happened. He meets a girl, but you know the main plot, so he gets drunk, starts to break down, and then tries to find happiness somewhere else. But that also doesn't work, which leads him to pushing people away. We see his lowest point, and that's why the first part is sometimes so hard to watch. It's not a story about the great hero, it's about a failure that got another chance and tries his best not to fuck up another life. He has his high moments, and he has his low moment. He gets lost sometimes and is pushed from the others. That's how he gets to the Magic Academy. And there's just one thing. The last season established that casting without incantation is a very rare skill. Something unheard of, and only 2 people we know about are Rudy and Sylphie. And in that very school, Rudy meets an elf that can cast this exact way, and he isn't suspicious, even a little bit. Regardless, Rudy being himself has to do questionable things like buying a slave to make figurines, or whatever this is. Okay, to be fair, that's not exactly Rudy's fault. And knowing this guy fiancé, what other introduction could we expect? Or this, and it really speaks about morals of people that are around him. Like, come on, none of you thought that's bad? Okay, they started it, but that's way too much. Oh, and how could I forget about another big plot point?
Silent Fits is made.
Rudeus being scared that he might like femboys.
I didn't know the Knights had hot cat girls too.
Actually, I'm a boy.
No, you're fucking not.
No, really, I'm
I said, no, you're fucking not.
But there's also an interesting plot about this girl who saved Rudy's life after Dragon God, also being isekai but not possessing any magic. We can also see the difference between those two. She wants to go back home to live her normal life, and Rudeus wants to stay here. This life is his chance not to waste another life. Oh, and he's not wasting any moments. Of course, even this had to be creepy in some way. There's a lot that I didn't like about part 1. Some parts are very creepy.
And then he pulled my panties down himself, so he saw my private part.
I was more than sure that second season will be where I stop watching it. And then I played the part 2. Oh my god, what happened to this show? Rudy got a house and is married? And the whole show is now wholesome? Part 2 feels like a blow to the face. Full of love, but still a blow. There's still a few weird things, but there's a lot of good ones too. Aside from the whole marriage, there's a lot more. Rudy has to take care of his sister, and once again he has to face his own trauma. This time for sake of saving his sister. This especially stood out for me. That's what I love about Mushoku Tensei. Those moments where Rudy, after wasting one life, decides to fight his own worst nightmares for the sake of his own and others. I was more than overjoyed to watch those episodes. Rudy stops being so perverted and all he cares about is his family and Sylvie. And when it's revealed that she's pregnant, what more could he wished for? But in this story, with every up, there's also a down. In this case, a letter from his father asking for help. And as if it wouldn't be hard enough, Man God tells Rudy that if he'll go there, he'll regret it. But not helping his father means probably never seeing him again. When his younger sister sees that Rudy decides to stay home, she chooses to help Paul herself. At this point, Rudy had no other choice. In some cases, there are just no right choices. So he went there to help his father. During that quest, Rudy starts to see Paul as a father figure and not just a dude that Rudy happened to meet, but it doesn't go as planned. Paul dies and his mother is mentally like President Biden.
For what I've been able to do with the with the COVID,
And he loses his arm. Far from home, he reaches his another low point. And well, Roxy's trash. 2 years ago I said this: Roxy is the best girl. Well, even my accent has changed, and I'd like to take it back. And I think it's an example of being around people with twisted morals. She openly admits to taking advantage of Rudy. Remember a few things. She knew him since he was a kid, and also she knew that he has a wife and kid on the way. Yet she decides to do this. It was really awful to watch, to see someone who Rudy respects and looks up to do something like that. But it shows the twisted morals of people around him. It was a way different story when Roger was around. He was a character with a strong sense of morals, but those around Rudy right now, they don't have that kind of sense. And Rudy, confused in this situation, takes an advice on marriage from the last person he should. It hurts especially seeing that the only person who saw how twisted this whole thing was Rudy's sister. Her speech reminds me of this very famous speech. They both carry the same emotional baggage. They both hit that spot that makes you speechless. And the worst thing is that Norm was right. She pointed out everything that normal person would. Yet she was the only one to do so. And the person that should be the most interested in it said this.
僕は時間の問題だと思ってたんだ。ルディが別の女の人を連れてくるの。ほら、ルディってエッチでしょ?
And Sylvie, come on, what the fuck? This story isn't about good and bad. It's not a black and white story. It's a story that I still don't know how I fully feel about. A lot of characters' action contradicts my own beliefs, but if I'm sure of one thing, is that I'm waiting for the third season to see how this story goes further down the line. That's all from me. See you next time. Gianne.